Well, I'm winging it today. I'm just going to talk to you because I was thinking about this crazy world we live in, why it's so painful, why we struggle. We never escape it, no matter how great your life is. Something always comes along and it hurts, doesn't it? Well, I'm going to talk today about heaven and hell is a choice, and they both exist right here on planet Earth. In fact, that's the experience we signed up for. So let's talk about that split and the choice that every individual, seemingly individual here on planet Earth, gets to make. Which one will you? Because it's go time. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears. It is a challenge. Fear comes with the turf. You're born with it. Why? Because we went into unconscious states of existence once we entered this space, this test, this game. You can call it whatever you want. So today we're going to address that heaven and hell actually exists right here. It's the test, it's the game. So welcome to my channel. I hope that you will subscribe. I think it's over here. And I have free things for you in the description, from creating a planet conscious business from scratch just for you. Or let's say you are living in fear. Maybe it's time to take my free webinar to break through fear. Those are free. They're in the description. I'm here to help you because we're going into the decision making of this split. Why? You're saying, well, why now? Well, you came here in this particular timeline, created, false, but it's real for us, right? You came here at this exact moment because you wanted to experience the split of this planet. It's been around a long time, gone through a lot of things, but now we're at a point of consciousness, understanding what we are, that we're not alone, and that there are so many different things that we don't understand beyond the human existence. Now, once we go into our natural state of being, pure energy, we know all of these things. They are made known to us once again because the veils are lifted. But we're under the veils right now. If we weren't, we would have all this information and there would be no game to play. We have to be in the unconscious state to experience the hell. So let's talk about that and what the game is and why it's so critical right now. Every participant on this planet, including animals and the natural world, is exposed to the choice of pure heaven on this planet, which still will give us challenges, or hell through our choices. What has happened up until this point is that more people, because they're unconscious, have grasped for the material world over service to others. They're serving self. It became addictive, and they continued to choose it because they were getting short-term satisfaction. It feels good when you have the money, right? Or when you're in love. And it feels like, wow, this is it. But we're never thinking eternal. We're thinking lifetime, which is a very short period of time. If I'm in love, this is the perfect person. This will solve all my problems. If I have the money, that's it. My life is going to be great. But it never works out that way, does it? But it is an addiction, the wanting, the needing, the ego. And this is why we are so easily led into those darker spaces, those lower frequencies that are just temporary fixes. We get really excited when I know about this because I own online businesses. I train people how to create online businesses, and I know the lure of the ads. Come with me, I'll teach you, and this is the money you can make. And you're thinking, oh, that's it. That's the fix. That's the happiness. I'm not thinking about what am I doing to create that happiness and how long is it going to last? And you get that high and you act on the high. The ego acts on the high. All right. The higher you, the higher conscious you does not. It acts on the inspiration, on the intuition, the knowing that's here, and of course in your solar plexus. You just know. Now, we have to be able to separate that from fear. The fear comes from the ego, who says, if I don't get the money, or if I don't get the love or the health or whatever, this is where I'll stay. And you're in such fear that you're going to do anything you can to get to these other spaces. So you go on the high. This is it. This is going to fix me. And then you realize it was just an ad to get you to buy something to fix you. And then when you realize no one's going to get money overnight, we'd all be wealthy if that was the case. You have to put some work into it. Then you start to realize this is about a journey. It's not about that final place, because the final place, you've always been in it. You're eternal. You always have been. You always will be. There's nothing to get to. So you have to play the game. So we were given, through our unconscious state, the ability to transform. We were able to, and still are able to, transform a dense planet and state of being, because we are not totally connected to just our perfect self. We are that. But we also have the components of the unconscious existence, the material body. It's a very low frequency. We can live with that in heaven. However, it is a choice. We were given the choice to transform. We all could right now live on heaven on earth, and you would walk around knowing that you would never have to lock your doors, that you could heal yourself, that there would always be someone there to help you when you got the challenges, because the challenges will remain. That's the game here. The challenges don't go away. We don't just flit around like angels. We have all that help. It's out there, but it cannot interfere, because the whole point is for you to make the choice. You. And so we can't have somebody do that for us. It's like having somebody help you with your test. You're cheating, basically. Well, yeah, you got the right answers, but it wasn't because you knew it. And so if you went to the next grade, you'd flunk if you had to do it on your own, because you never really learned what you had to pass the test the first time. And that's exactly how this works. So what's going to happen when we go into this phase? We've had so many people go into consciousness and realizing those short fixes, those addictions, they're not making me happy. In fact, it's the opposite. And you see the misery and the darkness that comes with it. And more people are choosing the higher frequency and stepping away from the material world, and realizing when they do, that's when they receive the healing, the abundance, the love. It all comes because now we are not in the basement anymore, battling with each other, having to be right, saying that this is the way things are. There are sides to take. There are no sides. There's just frequencies. There are just frequencies. And every floor experiences something different on the way up to the upper one. What does it take to get up there? You will have to get rid of the addiction of the ego that's going to want to fix it through any number of means. And to put yourself first, because you're thinking short term. This is your challenge. So we talk about the split that's happening right now. 2025 is happening right now. I just did a video on Baba Vanga. She talks about the double fire. What does that represent? Well, the good and the evil on the planet is still fire, because it's a low frequency. The fire out here of the ego, the fire inside of the beautiful spirit that has the ability to create absolutely anything, including on planet Earth, but still playing that physical game. We could live in heaven. And so we're at a turning point which we all chose, and we're getting there. And I believe that we will, but it is not going to be everyone. See, we all think that it's everyone's going to go or not. No, that's not true, because we have the individual choice, and we get to experience what we want. If somebody wants to experience hell on earth and they want to go out that way, so be it. But those who choose heaven will have to experience and witness that. You see, we came here as a family, as one group. So it isn't like you're not aware of what's happening with others. Our responsibility is then to shine our light. What does that mean? You have to put aside your judgment and your right and wrong, your arguing and your separation. One of the most difficult things we've ever had to do. You know, I teach people, even in my business training, we we stick with the principles that work. And one of them is collaboration. No one of us can be successful without the assistance of others because we are all pieces of a beautiful puzzle. And yours is important. If we're missing your piece, there's no whole picture. And that's what's going on here. There will be a transition for those who choose heaven, because they're going to still have to go through the trials and tribulations and challenges that are to come. It is not to fear. In fact, you will see the opportunities to become a completely different person. It's not somebody else's problem. No one is to blame. You aren't a mess because mommy and daddy didn't love you or you were abused. These are all choices that you made before you got here to experience and to triumph over. What's triumph over them? It's not even forgiveness. It's to experience your own choice to go into heaven, no matter what they did, and to not judge that. To me, forgiveness is wonderful, but it still says, I'm forgiving you because you did something wrong. Total enlightenment is you didn't do anything wrong. You just made a lower frequency choice. And I chose to experience that with you. And I made a choice to love you anyways, and to know that you'll get there too. But you'll get there if I shine my light, not if I blame you or I'm angry. You then actually take them into a lower frequency because we are connected to them. So when you shine your light and you choose that higher frequency of love and compassion for those who have harmed you, you raise their frequency. Now, what they do with that, that's their choice. But we have heaven on earth available. What is heaven? Well, if you're a Christian, you know it's the way of Christ, and that is total forgiveness, no matter what they do. And so we're in ignorance, right? And so you have to know that those who harm you are in ignorance. So how do you change that? You don't. You change you. And that is leading the way with light. And others will follow because they'll see, look at that. They loved me anyways. Can you imagine how powerful it is for you to love someone who's in darkness, who's harmed you? What that does to them? But if you turn on them and you blame them, you take them down and they say, see, everyone's evil and rotten, and I'm going to continue to just fight and battle for my ego and what I want because there is no love here. When you show love, you can change anything. I saw a homeless kid. Oh gosh, he was in his early 20s. He looked really bad, but he didn't look like he was on drugs. Not that it mattered. He walked up to me. I thought, oh, here he comes when I was going into the store. And he said, ma'am, I just wanted you to know that I'm looking for a job and I want to do my blah, 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 blah. And I said, stop. I said, you know what? You don't have to explain anything to me. I said, if you want money, I'll give you what I've got. And I only had like $20 cash. And I pulled it out and I said, I'm sorry that I don't have more, but this is what I have. Is that okay? And his eyes lit up. I'm sure he's not used to getting even $20, which is sad. And he said, thank you so much. And I said, you know what? I have faith in you. You're going to be okay. And I saw his whole demeanor change. It's that simple, my friend. It's that simple. I chose heaven. Heaven saw a perfect young man. And what he did in the past or how he got there, it didn't matter. It's about what's standing in front of you. What's standing in that boss's body or that abusive person? We don't have to tolerate the bad behavior, but can you forgive it? Can you walk away and know that it's coming from a dark place? There has to be something else that has happened up until that point that motivates that lower frequency to operate on that level. And you can shine light. This will happen in a much more physical way on our planet. You're going to see things happen in the other dimensions because now we are opening up the doors and the veils as we progress to a higher frequency. What happens there? We have what I call the fourth sight. I've had it before. Some of you've had it. everything looks different. It's intense. Colors look different. All of a sudden, the veil's open. You can see orbs. You can see colors. You can see things that are beautiful. You will get messages. And it's not crazy stuff anymore. You realize it's what exists all here at once that we have been blind to because we are so deep in that basement. It's so dark. And when you go up and up and up, you raise your frequency, the elevator takes you higher, higher realms. It's such a clear, beautiful view from the penthouse. You're aware now of all of the floors below you. See, when you're in the basement, you don't even know what's up there, right? You don't know what's possible. That's why it's so difficult to pull out of where we are right now. We're blind, it's dark, we're scraping for whatever we can get, and there's rats and mold, and it's very unpleasant. So we think, if I get this, then I'll be okay. And then when you let go of it, you realize, boom, you start to go up that elevator and there's light and people treat you better and there's more abundance and health. And then you keep going up and it gets better and better. And then all of a sudden you realize letting go of the addiction of the ego is all it took. But you have to take that first step to not allow it to rule you anymore. Because the more of us that go up to that penthouse, the more you will see these veils dropping and more things will appear here, including our intergalactic friends, who, by the way, are here to help us. If you've ever seen Chris Bledsoe, he said something about people that see orbs. And I happen to know this because one of my students, Nikki, has experienced this. She sees orbs all the time. I said, what was the state of your being when you started to see them? And it was darkness. In such a dark, horrible place, you're feeling so lost and not loved. And all of a sudden they show up. It did for Chris and so many other people. He said, I've noticed the pattern. It's when there's great loss and sorrow. Awakening happens at that point. It's not a nice place to be. You don't have to go there to experience heaven, but it can take you there. So don't fear anything. Either way, you will not be left here, but it's still a choice. So let me just share one more thing with you. Indulgence will test you. The material world that feeds the ego's short-term pleasures is what's going to truly test you. And when you recognize it is short-term, you can make a different choice that will give you a much bigger high, but it won't feel like that at first. You're going to say to yourself, wait a minute, it's so much easier to have this stuff to make me feel good, fill my ego with greatness. Aren't I wonderful? And so you need the followers, you need the approval. You know you're an ego in low frequency when you need approval. When you go in a high frequency, you see it differently. You realize those who don't approve of you are in low frequencies because love has no barriers or bounds, has no barriers or boundaries. Love accepts you exactly who you are. Now, it may not hang out with you, so you have to earn that. The shift now is heaven or hell because we can live in a state of being when there is an earthquake or somebody does get ill. They can turn all of it around. We'll be there for one another. The challenges still continue because this planet offers that, and it can be something amazing. That's when triumphs and feeling truly great about your choices comes into play because now I chose to put myself out to help someone. That return is mirrored back to you tenfold and then some. You will see the responses. And don't look at timelines to determine that. I did all these things and I'm not seeing anything happen. It will come. But we have a planetary schedule, a program. The planets align. It's part of the program that says, okay, here's another challenge. Oh, here we're going to go into, we're going to give you a break here. That's all it is. It's part of the program, just like a computer. But we're not a computer. We're way beyond that. Will you choose heaven or hell? Because 2026 is going to reveal some things that will be indisputable to the world, that there's so much more going on here that's beyond what we as the human existence is. You're part of that, but you're playing this role. And the unconscious part of you is going to be the choice. You either release it and accept that this is real, including our visitations here. How many more stories do you have to hear? And then what do? We chastise people. We don't believe them. Maybe some of them are making it up, but I don't need to judge that. It's time for you to go into every thought and action that you can that goes into the higher frequency, that contributes to others, including how you earn your money, what you put into your body, what you're using. And you got to stop using anything that contributes to the planetary demise, plastic, all of it. You guys know that I have in my description every kind of choice to detox your bodies. It'll help you to go to a higher frequency, to stop using the plastics, to support the businesses out there that are doing the things on a higher frequency, to change how we consume things. Stop putting garbage in your body and your mind. You're still in the physical part of this game that is not going to end till you leave the planet. All right. You will go into that higher space. You're going to experience that weightlessness, that out of body experience, but you still will have the body here that you have to deal with. All right. People say, well, I was awakened and then, I had some heart or thing or cancer when I said, yep, doesn't ever stop. But you can move past all of them. And we cannot know what somebody's journey is or challenge. Some of the most enlightened people have gone through things. Look at Christ, to demonstrate how far can I go to still step into heaven. Are you ready for that? 2025 is a spiritual shift, and we're nearing the end of it. We have been tested to choose heaven or hell. Here, not out there. Not after you leave here. If I do good things, what does that mean? You get to experience it here. If you're struggling right now, it doesn't mean you're choosing hell. It means that you are not accepting the fact that this is actually an opportunity for you to step into heaven and that you can overcome it. And that these trials and tribulations don't define you. This isn't who you are. You can't say, I have a mirror coming back, and these are horrible things. And maybe it is lack. You're still feeling lack and you don't know how to get out of it. But there are answers always for you when you release the control or the blame. You've got to release it all. All right? You ready for that? You have the power to transform. It's real simple. You choose heaven or hell. This is the split. And those who choose hell will say, nothing's happening. The world isn't changing. It's a horrible place. And it will be, because there will always be those in darkness that will experience that throughout this whole journey. Are you ready to choose heaven? Because no matter what happens, the fear will subside. Because you'll know that something beautiful awaits you outside of this body, but everything you do here is so important and it counts. Every other soul in this game is counting on you. I have faith in you. You are loved beyond what you can imagine. It's a love that you can't even describe. Those of you who want a deeper explanation, I wrote this book. It was a download. I just came up with every possible thing I could write at 3 o'clock in the morning that was coming into me. And it explains exactly how things work, what we're going through now, the tipping point, and what I call the knowing. The knowing means you stop asking questions. You don't need answers anymore. You don't need somebody to tell you it's going to be okay, because you know that's the choice of heaven, that you hold that power. Because you're perfect, you're strong, you're beautiful, you're loving. You hold all the power in the universe and beyond. You always have, you always will. And we will meet those who will show us the beauty of that power. And I believe that will be in 2026. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. And again, go into the description for all kinds of free things. We're creating planet conscious businesses from scratch, creating things that whatever you can think of, we monetize it and we take it to the world. It'll change your life and others. If you're not entrepreneurial, just make every possible decision, every choice, every thought, every action. Make it count. I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.